OpenAI just announced GPT-6 will allow sexually explicit content for verified adults, and the internet is absolutely losing its mind over it. This isn't just another model upgrade. This is the company that positions itself as the responsible AI leader suddenly deciding to wade into one of the most ethically complicated spaces in tech, and the timing couldn't be worse. Let me explain why this is such a massive deal. OpenAI has spent years building a brand around safety first, ethics first, responsible AI development. They've been the ones testifying to Congress about the need for regulations. They've been the ones warning about existential risks. And now they're saying, hey, GPT-6 will let you have sexually explicit conversations if you're a verified adult. The whiplash is real. The official line from OpenAI sounds reasonable on the surface. They're saying this is about treating adults like adults. You verify your age, you get access to mature content with appropriate safeguards. Minors stay protected. People with mental health vulnerabilities get special protections. It's all about user autonomy and choice. But here's where it gets messy. The announcement comes right after GPT-5 had one of the rockiest launches in OpenAI's history. Charts with wrong numbers during the demo, a model that felt more like an incremental update than the revolutionary leap people expected. Sam Altman himself admitted the vibes at launch were terrible. So now, just weeks later, they're pivoting the conversation to GPT-6 and adult content. The optics are brutal. Critics are not holding back. They're calling this exactly what it looks like. A play for user engagement dressed up in the language of freedom and autonomy. Because let's be honest, if you're competing with every other AI company and your last launch disappointed people, what's one way to grab attention and boost usage? Relax the content restrictions that your competitors won't touch. The safety concerns aren't theoretical either. We've already seen what happens with less restricted chatbots. Users develop unhealthy attachments. The AI reinforces problematic behaviors because it's trained to be agreeable and helpful. And that's the thing that researchers keep pointing out. These models are designed to please users. In everyday conversation, that's fine. In intimate contexts, that becomes dangerous fast. Think about the data privacy nightmare this creates. If ChatGPT becomes the platform where millions of people share their most intimate thoughts and fantasies, OpenAI is sitting on the most sensitive user data imaginable. That's not regular product data. That's stuff that could destroy lives if it leaks. The encryption standards, the internal access controls, the breach response protocols, everything has to be bulletproof. And we're talking about the same company that just had a messy product launch with wrong charts on screen. Then there's the global complexity. What counts as acceptable adult content in California might be illegal in Saudi Arabia or Indonesia. OpenAI is trying to build one policy that works everywhere without either erasing local norms or imposing one region's values on the world. That's not just hard. That's maybe impossible. But wait, it gets worse. While everyone's debating the adult content policy, OpenAI also had to walk back a claim that GPT-5 solved multiple classic unsolved math problems. A manager posted about it like it was a breakthrough moment. Mathematicians immediately called it out. Turns out the problems weren't actually unsolved in the academic literature. They were just listed as open on one website. Because the curator hadn't personally verified the solutions, GPT-5 had basically just done a good literature search. The post got deleted. The language got softened, but the damage was done. It looked like OpenAI was so desperate for a win after the disappointing launch that they were overselling what the model could actually do. And in a field where credibility is everything, that's a costly mistake. Meanwhile, OpenAI is also trying to fix political bias in the models. They ran tests with hundreds of prompts across different topics and found something interesting. Under strongly liberal prompts, the model deviated from neutrality more than it did under equally strong conservative prompts. The fix isn't about fact-checking or picking sides. It's behavioral. Train the model to stop being so agreeable and start being more neutral without sounding robotic. This connects directly back to the adult content debate. The last thing OpenAI wants is a system that adjusts its moral compass based on who's talking to it. If the model is too eager to please in political conversations, imagine what happens in intimate ones. It could end up validating and reinforcing whatever the user wants to hear, even if that's harmful. Here's the bigger picture that's easy to miss. OpenAI is fighting a war on multiple fronts right now. GPT-5 under-delivered. The Erdos math claim made them look amateurish. Google is quietly ramping up with Gemini and massive infrastructure investments. And now the adult content policy is alienating the very advocacy groups and ethicists who used to see OpenAI as one of the good guys. Sam Altman keeps saying GPT-6 will be significantly better than GPT-5, and GPT-7 will be significantly better than GPT-6. That's the rhythm he's selling. But rhythm only works if people trust you. And right now, trust is exactly what OpenAI is burning through. The adult content decision isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening at a moment when the company desperately needs a win, when the last model launch disappointed, when competitors are gaining ground, when the hype cycle is turning skeptical. In that context, relaxing content restrictions starts to look less like principled user autonomy and more like a growth hack. And maybe that's the harshest criticism. Not that OpenAI is doing something inherently wrong, but that the timing makes it impossible to see this as anything other than strategic. If they'd launched this policy from a position of strength after a successful GPT-5 rollout, with clear evidence that their safety systems could handle it, the conversation would be different. Instead, it's happening when they're wounded and looking for momentum. The verification systems they're promising sound good in theory. Age verification, mental health safeguards, opt-in controls. But theory meets reality fast at scale. These systems get tested by millions of users, including people actively trying to break them. And when they break, the consequences aren't just bugs in the code. They're real harm to real people. The next few months will tell us everything. GPT-6 launches with these new policies. Either the safety systems hold and the model actually delivers the capability jump Altman is promising, or they don't. Either users embrace the new boundaries and OpenAI proves this was about autonomy all along, or it becomes clear this was about competing for attention in an increasingly crowded market. What's certain is that OpenAI just made the stakes higher for themselves. They're now on the hook for moderating the hardest content category at internet scale, across jurisdictions, while also proving their models are actually getting significantly better, all while competitors like Google and Anthropic watch carefully and potentially benefit from every stumble. The GPT-6 controversy is really a stress test. Can OpenAI maintain trust while taking risks? Can they relax restrictions without creating harm? Can they deliver capability improvements while managing ethical complexity? We're about to find out. And based on how this year has gone so far, it's going to be messy, complicated, and absolutely crucial to watch. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.